Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one. Cheers, guys.
Side of your mind, but please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the mid-season premiere of Season 8 of The Walking Dead on AMC, which was episode 9 of Season 8. I don't know if I already said that, but anyway, it was called Honor. And of course, this is one of, if not the biggest or most game-changing episode in The Walking Dead's history. Especially since it's such a big departure from the comics with what happens with Carl here. And this has been a major point of controversy and debate, ever since it, broke, for the winner. And I love The Walking Dead. It's one of my all-time favorite shows, within my top 3, actually. I got a shirt right here of the, barn and everything. I got plenty more Walking Dead shirts, probably will get more at some point. And before we get into more details about the episode, I just sort of want to address my general thoughts on it. I already kind of talked about it when it was revealed at the end of the mid-season. But, for me, I understand why some people are upset, because it is a big departure from the comics. We are losing a little bit of, story that we see on, or in the comics, with losing Carl here. Sure, they'll probably, rework certain things to, still make the Whisperers show up. They'll rework certain things, with the Whisperers storyline, and make it play out in their own way. But, it's going to be different for sure. And, killing Carl, it even takes away, that same expected direction that a lot of people probably thought The Walking Dead was going to go in either platform, I guess I should say. I don't know, it's probably not the right word, but basically takes away that classic story we were all expecting it to go in both the show and the comics, and that's Rick eventually dying, either due to a walker or just sacrificing himself in some way or something like that, and then have Carl carry on and sort of take the reins and the mantle, I suppose. But obviously that's not going to be the case anymore, at least in the TV show. And with that, a lot of people seem very, very upset. And I get it, if you're a fan of the comics, I understand it to that extent. But some people are saying just how awful of a decision this is, and there's mixed reports about how it went behind the scenes and everything. But I guess from an outside, and I know it's been hard on the cast too, especially Andrew Lincoln and some of the others, because they've literally seen Chandler Riggs grow up, which in a way they probably feel like a second father and son to each other. So I understand that perspective as well. But in terms of me, someone who's been a diehard Walking Dead TV show fan for since the very beginning, really. I guess I'm not too upset. I'll explain that in a second. But with that, I just feel like a part of it is, I think people are sort of jumping the gun a bit. Again, I know I get it from certain perspectives, like I said. But with Carl, I remember before this, I couldn't go to a Walking Dead post on Facebook without seeing people complaining about Carl and saying they want him dead, but they know it won't happen. And now all I see is all this like unending support and bashing of Scott and Gimple and the others for making this decision, which I find kind of funny because a lot of people seem pretty distasteful towards the Carl character before now. Me, Carl was never really not one of my favorites, but I understood his importance in the story. And I thought Chandler Riggs did a fine job throughout the series, no question. And I always did care about him just because I love Rick so much and everything. But yeah, for me, I'm honestly not that hurt by it. I mean, it was a really sad episode for sure, and I'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. But just in terms of Carl being gone in general, I don't think it's necessarily going to kill the show, at least for me. For me, I think it actually makes it more unpredictable. I think it's good when a show does this, diverges from its source material a little bit, or a lot of it, I guess, in this case. But I think it just makes it more unpredictable for everyone, but for both just, TV viewers and comic book readers. I think it makes it for a more dynamic television, really. And, so I don't know. I don't think it's really all bad. I don't think it's really quite what people are making it out to be. And besides that, this was a wonderful episode. This is an excellent episode. I think it's one of the best the show has had in a while. Really great acting throughout from Chandler Riggs, but especially Andrew Lincoln, of course. Really, Andrew Lincoln's been consistently the strongest thing on the show ever since the start. Along with John Bernthal and a couple others throughout, of course, but he's just been so consistent. He's only gotten better throughout the seasons, and just seeing him portray Rick's major loss like this was really heart-wrenching for sure. So with as much as I still care about Rick, it was really hard to watch, and I really connected with him again here, as I always do. I also thought it was really touching with Michonne, because Michonne's become a sort of a mother figure to Carl after losing Lori. And they also see each other as, friends, best friends. And that was really, really hard to see. And Danai Gurira did a fabulous job as well. It was just all around written really well. It was edited really well. A lot of people complain, it was, extended episode to see someone die. It felt dragged out. It was boring. I swear, people are so fucking fickle sometimes, you know what I mean? The Walking Dead's a character drama first, and a horror, it's kind of sort of action series second. And I think Carl definitely deserved the spotlight in this episode, no question about it. And I think they did well with it. I think it actually paced out pretty well. The Morgan stuff, with Morgan going after Gary, what's the Savior's guy name? I don't know, you know who I mean, the guy who's been sort of a little bit neutral on having to, carry out these orders from Negan. But of course they had Ezekiel, so, him and Carol had, tried to find a way to break him out. Not break him out, but I mean, get a hold of him and take out some of the Saviors one by one. Those are some pretty cool sequences, by the way, with Morgan especially. He's just getting more and more broken down mentally again, he's in this kill mode, he's just going complete kill machine. But then he's really struggling with himself again, and it appears. I think that's really going to connect into the Fear the Walking Dead crossover that we're going to be getting with Lenny James going over there. Also excited because I'm going to a convention in Chicago in April, which I'll do a video on whenever I get my passes, which they're going to be mailed out within a couple weeks. But it's C2E2 Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, and Lenny James is going to be there, as well as Kari Payton, Ezekiel, and many others I'm excited about. But I really appreciate that. Morgan's always been one of my favorites, and I've even liked Lenny James since Jericho, if you guys seen that. But anyway, getting off topic here, but I thought Morgan's mental state was really interesting in this one as well. And seeing him going after the guy almost out of a horror movie was actually pretty intense, and I thought nicely shot and put together as well. And Morgan taking out the guy's intestines, it's definitely one of the most brutal parts I've seen on the show in a while, ever since they sort of toned it down a little bit after all the Glenn and Abraham controversy with Lucille. You gotta get back to that. People just gotta know the kind of show it is. It's a show about zombies. What do you think it's gonna be like? Anyway, that's another discussion. That was all pretty good. only for Henry to kill a guy at the end anyway, but he is still struggling with it. He's just really mentally breaking again, I think. Even Carol didn't want him to do it there, but he was going to until Henry did it anyway, so. But yeah, back to the, Carl stuff. We also see him throughout, what he was doing, writing letters to everyone, not just Rick and Michonne, but also Enid. Be interesting to see what Enid thinks, when she finds out about it later. It's going to really hit her. Because obviously they had a thing for each other, but it hadn't really come to fruition yet. They're, it's kind of been taking their time with that. But Judith, I also liked, him taking a picture with her, so when she gets older, she could have some image of her brother, which I thought was really a nice touch on the part of Carl. And then we see that what a lot of people thought was a flash forward at the beginning of the season with the whole Old Man Rick thing. And if they follow the comics, they very well could get Old Man Rick like that. But it turns out it appeared to be Carl's actual dream of his ideal result at the end of all this fighting. Alexandria is flourishing. Rick has found another way, which, that was another big part of this episode was, of course, Rick and Carl's dialogue, which I already talked about, and how, effective that was. But, Carl even tied it back to, the prison, and after that fight with the governor after season 3, Rick had laid down his gun, he put away his gun, and when he's sort of more so helping Herschel with the crafts and everything. Carl said he did that before. It was the right thing. Now it was the right thing then. It still is now. So he wants Rick to do that. He wants him to know and believe he doesn't have to just kill everyone. There has to be more after. And as he tells Judith, when Lori died, when their mother died, she said he is going to beat this world. He said he didn't, but she will. And in a way, I think he still did. I think that's kind of one of the purposes of those lines now. Is Carl's dead now, which is still weird to say, but he's dead now, and but at the same time, he still beat this world in a way because he ended up choosing a different path as it went. He had a little kinks along the way. He almost went off the rails a little bit, but he stopped himself and he held up just as well as anyone. So I think in a way he did beat what this world was trying to turn him into. And he encourages Rick to try and do the same. And Rick, he's still not really buying into that yet. He just doesn't believe that can be a result with all this, everything that's happened. That's a much more realistic look at it, but it's going to be interesting to see it. It's also tying into those, what I think are still flash forwards of Rick saying, "My mercy prevailed over my wrath." Again, just incredible mode of acting from Andrew Lincoln. It's such a crime, by the way, that Andrew Lincoln hasn't gotten an Emmy for his work all these years. But anyway, and those the dream sequences now we can say of Carl is even seeing that old man Negan, saying hello, darling, to Judith. I really hope they keep Negan on the same path as they have in the comics, which I think has been really interesting. I'm not going to say too much about it, but I think it's going to make it much more dynamic and a lot more fun for viewers if they take it that way. But now I'm worried about Lauren Cohen because there's been all that controversy lately, or reports lately about Lauren Cohen possibly leaving. Apparently she's made a deal with ABC to lead a show with a pilot that's coming up that could be put to series. But either way, if it doesn't get picked up here, she's really wanting her way out. And if Maggie leaves, that's going to be a blow to the story, probably more so than Carl's, honestly, because I've made sense out of the Carl thing, but it's going to be harder to just take Maggie out of it. But we could do a whole video on that. But yeah, this is really touching. I did tear up. I was hoping to hear some mention of Shane directly, but you don't always need to talk about that, I guess. It's still on Rick's mind no matter what. I'm sure Carl still thinks about him. But I still did like him mentioning the farm and the prison and everything. And Rick does promise that he's going to try and build what Carl wants. He's going to make some sort of attempt for it. And we also see the guy that Carl had gotten bitten saving. He has some lesser form of a medical training, so he can be sort of a doctor now. So that was fine as well. We actually see the moment of Carl being bitten, which I think was nice, to sort of lessen the confusion with certain viewers who didn't remember that particular scene a couple episodes beforehand. But yeah, I just thought this was an excellent episode all the way around. I'm giving it 9.5 to like a 9.67 out of 10. Maybe not perfect, I guess, maybe not, but I think it's definitely within the top 10 best episodes of the show we've had so far. And it's been over 100 episodes now. So yeah, I just think it was great. Just really strong acting from Andrew Lincoln, especially. Chandler Riggs was still really good, of course. Danai Gurira. I like Daryl's respect towards Carl as well, saying all these people are saying that that's all him, that's all you, man. It's subtle, but just enough from a character like Daryl, I think. But yeah, I thought it was just a really good start to the second half of the season. I'm really eager to see how it's going to conclude in the finale. I'm very excited to see what's done with Negan, though. So yeah, I know what you guys thought about this one. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.